Faces. You see faces where there are none. You walk through life, staring at the clouds, the trees, the shadows, and you think, aha, there's a smile, a pair of eyes, a familiar shape. But let me tell you a secret. There's nothing there. Just your mind, desperate for meaning in a world that offers none. Pareidolia, it's your brain's little parlor trick, projecting order onto chaos, making patterns out of random noise. It's laughable, really, how hard you try to see something that isn't there. You're all just children, staring at Rorschach blots, pretending you figured it all out. Take a moment and think about it. You see a face in the moon, don't you? A man smiling down at you from that cold, dead rock. Or maybe you see a bunny hopping along up there. Some see saints in toast. Others see devils in the burnt marks on their breakfast. Isn't it funny? A bit of burnt bread becomes a miracle, and all of a sudden people are on their knees praying to a smudge. But the truth? It's just a burnt piece of toast. There's no divine intervention, no cosmic joke, just your brain twisting reality to fit its little narrative. It's desperate, really. Pathetic, even. Let me tell you about this guy I once knew. Let's call him Greg. Greg used to swear he saw his dead wife's face in every little thing. The stains on the window, the clouds in the sky, the creases in his pillowcase, they all looked like her. But was it her? Was she coming back to comfort him from the great beyond? Of course not. But Greg needed to believe that, didn't he? Because otherwise he'd have to face the cold reality that she's gone, that she's just dust and memories and nothing more. So his mind fed him lies, shapes that weren't there, faces that didn't exist. And Greg, he clung to them like a drowning man reaching for a lifeline made of smoke. You see, that's the game your brain plays. It turns shadows into monsters, cracks in the wall into watching eyes. It makes sense of the senseless, order out of chaos. But the truth? There's nothing there. You're just seeing what you want to see. You see faces because you can't stand the thought of being alone in this indifferent universe. So your brain plays tricks, fills in the gaps, makes you think there's someone or something watching you. Think about religion for a second. Now we're getting to the good stuff. People see the face of their God in a tree bark or on a tortilla, and suddenly, it's a miracle. They gather around, they light candles, they worship it. But look closer, and it's just a tree, just a tortilla, no divine power, no holy sign, just random lines and patterns your mind decided to dress up as something meaningful. And why? Because you need to see it. You need the comfort, the reassurance that there's something greater, something watching over you. But the joke's on you. There's nothing there. Just randomness dressed up in the pretty little stories your mind spins to make you feel better. Oh, and let's not forget conspiracy theories. You people love those, don't you? You see a few random events, some strange symbols, and suddenly you're convinced there's a secret plan, some grand design lurking just beneath the surface. A shadowy cabal pulling the strings behind the scenes. You see meaning where there is none, order in the chaos, because the alternative, that the world is random, chaotic, and no one is in control, that is too terrifying for you to accept. So, you create a pattern, a face in the static, a story where there's only noise. You ever heard of the Virgin Mary in a water stain? Yeah, that happened. People flocked to an underpass to stare at a damp patch, convinced they were witnessing a miracle. But here's the kicker. It was just a water stain. The universe wasn't sending a message. It wasn't speaking through a splotch of moisture on a concrete wall. But humans? They need to believe in something, don't they? They need to see the face of the divine in the mundane because they're terrified of the truth, that life is just stuff happening without rhyme or reason. And it doesn't stop with saints and symbols, does it? It's in the everyday, too. You look at someone's expression and you think you can read their mind. You see a frown, a twitch, a glance, and suddenly you're sure they're angry or plotting something. But here's the truth, sweetheart. You don't know what they're thinking. You're just projecting your own fears, your own anxieties onto them. You're making up stories to fill the gaps because the unknown is too much for your fragile little mind to handle. Look at the stars. People have been staring at them for centuries, drawing lines between them, creating constellations. The Big Dipper, Orion, the Pleiades. Oh, what lovely stories. But they're just stars, scattered randomly across the sky, and you've decided to connect the dots. You've imposed your own meaning on them, pretended they were put there for you, as if the universe cares about your little drawings. But the stars, they're just burning balls of gas, indifferent to your stories. They don't care about the shapes you see. They don't care about you at all. You know what the real joke is. You do this every single day. You walk through life, pretending to see meaning in every little thing. A stranger's smile, a coin you find on the sidewalk. The way the light hits the window just right, you convince yourself it all means something. But it doesn't. It's just your brain, spinning its little webs of illusion, desperate to make sense of a world that is, at its core, senseless. Pareidolia. It's the way you cope with the emptiness, the randomness, the cold indifference of the universe. You see faces where there are none. You create patterns where there's only chaos. You invent stories where there's only silence. And the more you look, the more you fool yourself into thinking there's a reason, a purpose behind it all. But there isn't. It's all in your head. You're just another fragile mind, trapped in a world that doesn't care, scribbling meaning onto the void, hoping it'll look back and smile. But guess what? It won't, because there's nothing there. There never was.